Blog Talk Radio.
Good morning. We're live on Loudmouth Radio, and as always, it's a fantastic Friday with Jazzie, Sterling, Powell, and Sonny on your airwaves on loudmouthradio.com. If you're listening to today's show live, we encourage you to call in at 347-826-7520, take part in the conversation. And if you're listening in online and you just want to chat with us via online chat, we do have our chat boxes open so we can talk with you online on our actual website at blogtalkradio.com/loudmouthradio. Make sure you put in those 2 Ds. Now, for all those who may be listening to us for the first time, we are an online radio network. They've been going for 3 years strong since 2013, and we're so excited about being on air. And today we'll definitely make it a very interesting show. I'm one of your hosts, Sonny, and today we'll actually have Sterling on with us, as well as we're going to just kind of ride this airwave because one of our 3 musketeers, Jazzie, has not been feeling her best this week, and so today we'll actually be on air with Sterling and I. But, we always try to keep the conversation interesting and keep it to a point where I think that you will be able to follow us and have an opportunity to hear some good stuff. So, Sterling, I want to say good morning to you. How you doing today?
Good morning and a fantastic Friday to you. I'm so sorry to hear about Miss Jazzie. How is she doing? She's feeling a little bit better. She's not in the hospital now, better. Right? She's home.
No,
so
she's
she is
not.
Home.
Exactly.
So,
and for majority of our listeners around the world, we're broadcasting today out of Metro Atlanta and Tampa Bay, and many places like Atlanta has had a quadrum of pollen, and Jazzie has asthma. So you mix pollen and asthma together, and the air quality, it doesn't work too well. So it's one of those things that it just really took over, and she's been having some difficulty breathing. So thank God that, today, I think actually yesterday we started having a little bit of rain, so it eased us up a little bit. Thank God.
Wow, and we had some rain this week here in Tampa Bay, and it did help. But everywhere you look, the pollen is lying on everywhere, and so I can definitely feel for Miss Jazzie, and she will be missed. But you and I will keep the show going this week. And we do have some good topics, and we're going to be joined later toward 11:20 by Steve Persall from the Tampa Bay Times. He is doing a show this evening with Sophia Loren, so we'll get some of his comments on that. but
Awesome.
I think that you and I want to do what's happening around our little necks of the world here in Atlanta and in Tampa Bay, and I know,
absolutely,
Sonny, that you guys there in Georgia had some real exciting news that affected all of us in our community this week.
absolutely. And for those who have been listening to us and just been following our conversation, Sterling is really talking about, for many states, there have been these different laws of legislation that have been, aggressively threatened many communities, especially when you have states like Georgia that has a huge population of LGBT. But the anti-religious bill has had different names. The pastors, what do they call it, Sterling? The pastors.
Well, it's like a pastor's right. I mean,
right.
act,
yeah.
And act, and there, it's a lot of the the religious Christians, are asking for a religious liberty bill. And one of the great things that happened this week is, even though the Georgia governor is a conservative, Nathan Deal, he vetoed the bill after it had passed.
The Senate and the House.
The Senate and the House.
Senate and the House, yes.
And the Christians feel that the governor betrayed them, but our community is definitely, and most of the country. I mean, the strange thing is he's actually been applauded by the majority of the nation. The majority of the people in the nation are applauding him for going with, keeping the separation of state and religion.
Church and state. That's right.
Yeah.
And it's been about 12 days that, once it passed the Senate, it went to the House floor, and it went from there to the governor's desk. And the bill for us in Georgia was the House Bill 757. So the religious freedom bill, he really has, I think from his position, he had a lot of backlash coming from many corporations. Georgia has become a huge market for film, and you've had studios, major corporations that is like, look, if you allow and allocate this bill to happen in your state, we're pulling out. We're not investing money into your state. We're not going to allow a religious bill to outright discriminate. And it just got to a point where, and it was so funny because, Governor Deal is like, look, I don't like threats. It got to a point where many of the Republican response has been directed toward Governor Deal in a sense of backlash for him vetoing this bill. And it's one of those things that North Carolina, same thing, but they
same thing going on. Yeah,
there's
numerous states that are trying. Texas, but North Carolina is the closest one, so we have to continue the boycott there, which is the same thing. Like you said, Georgia did have a wave of criticism that did, I think, help persuade Governor Deal in his decision to do the right thing. I mean, it's basically, and that's what he said. I mean, at the end of the day, he basically felt he was doing the right, that he was doing the right thing. And now it's kind of funny. He's feeling that he's being pressured by his own party and the religious Christians with more threats than he was getting, in a sense, about business and the corporations. It's kind of strange that he's feeling the burn, and it's not from Bernie Sanders.
Exactly, and he's like, you know what? You can come with it all you want. He don't care because this is his last term. So at this point, he's like, whatever. you can come and say whatever you want, but I think that, Indiana last year was a prime example of a state passing this, outright just discriminatory bill and seeing how the community responded. And, it's teetered over into states like Kentucky, where we have the Kim Davis situation, where she felt the need to exercise her right of religious working in a public position in the federal government. So it's just an ongoing attempt through discriminatory, harmful laws. CNBC actually posted an article not even 24 hours ago about why are states still passing awful laws, and the opening subject is saying that North Carolina and Georgia learned anything from Indiana. And it's been exactly a year ago, the nation was looked upon, the eye was on Indiana as the state was just induced with protests after that controversial religious freedom law passed. And that ability for a business that is serving the public, and Jazz, we were talking about this week. If you're a business, a privately owned business that's serving the public, you can't have it both ways. If you're providing private services and you're not open to the generalized public, that's one thing. But to be just outright blatantly discriminating because you just want to say you can, that's just not okay.
Well, and he said, I loved kind of his statement where he said you do not have to discriminate against the community, this community, to support the faith-based community. You don't have to discriminate against one to support another. And that's what he said, that his family and himself, he did not want to do this discrimination as he had studied it. And, often these bills, they incorporate so many things into them that it was an appalling, it was an appalling bill that was not only going to totally discriminate against like the anti-gay laws, that they could do a lot of things, but it's also back to we have this whole public bathroom issue going on, and so they incorporate so many things into these bills that it almost makes it impossible to pass them. But then, the strange thing was that both the Senate and the House in Georgia decided to, and I applaud the governor for using his veto power, and I think that it's a big, big step. And I hope that it encourages the governor and the people in North Carolina to do the same, because I know that they're also at the moment feeling the backlash, and that's what we have to do as a community and as a nation, is hit them with the dollar. And the people that joined our community were in the boycotts of both Georgia and North Carolina in these states were very widespread from everything. I mean, it was the Super Bowl was going to be pulled, and I thought that was
yes. Atlanta's up for 2019, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So
and they said,
you said it, Sterling. You have to hit them you had to hit them in the pocket, hit them where it hurts.
And when you think of the fact that the National Football League was siding with non-discrimination, I think that's huge. I think it's huge, and it's going to show. I think as we move forward with this, I think you're going to start to see things change in many different businesses and parts of our community as we get through this election, and just not allow hate to reign. because this
Absolutely.
election has definitely exposed an underbelly of hatred in our country that we have to stand up to, that is very surprising. You know, when we ushered in such hope when Obama won, it is amazing.
That's right.
The hatred that 8 years later we are seeing in this election. It's amazing to me, because I was so hopeful, as the theme of Obama's election was, and I think so many of us in the country was, to see this, to see, like you said, the backlash that has happened with hatred. This election is just, I mean, the fact that they're attacking their wives and the tabloids are now involved. It just amazes me what's going on, you know, with the hair, as we call him, the hair dryer, because he makes so much noise and stuff. And the,
captures your W-2 with the snap of a pic.
You know, is that it does just amaze. It does amaze me what's going on, but hopefully, like I said, I think that that Governor Deal's veto is a positive sign for us that things are moving in the right direction again. And I don't know, Sonny, if you've seen it, but there's a huge move inside the Democratic Party. As much as they're kind of fighting on the outside, the party themselves is talking that Bernie and Hillary are going to have to unite, that they're probably going to have to be the ticket together. As much as they have to continue the conversation to the convention, but at the convention that they may have to, it may end up a Clinton-Saunders ticket to defeat the Republicans, and there's a big push for that.
Absolutely.
And I'll tell you that I'm probably going to support that ticket. I'm going to probably support, because I hope that they can reach a compromise, which is what politics are about.
It's really exactly.
And unite the Democratic Party, to unite our nation, because we definitely have issues. You know, we definitely have issues that both Bernie and I feel the hairdryer has brought has exposed. It's not like I don't think that the hairdryer hasn't brought things out, but Bernie does the same thing.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, they're kind of the yin and yang of each other.
Exactly. And it's one of these things where we're at a point that I know that we're kind of starting to lean into some more of our presidential election, but, you know, from the state levels, you have, like, Mississippi is now dealing with the same issue of the Religious Freedom Bill. You know, it's so interesting how we back to the states that were part of the original colonies that are really, you know, really threatening these bills to pass. And in Mississippi, it's the House Bill 1523. And you know, I think with Georgia making the decision that Nathan Deal made gives some additional hope to states like Mississippi and even North Carolina to try to overturn, you know, that bill passing. So so I think, you know, at the sum of it, the best thing we can just continue to do is to look to exercise the conversation of the importance of people being involved at the local levels and making sure that they're exercising their voices when it comes to things like this passing. So let's take a quick little break, and Sterling will come back. I know that we should be having our guest. Our
guest should be calling in. Yeah, he should be calling in any moment here.
Okay, and I believe he's on there. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll come right back on.
Okay.
You're listening to the Loudmouth Radio Network.
Insurance Associates Atlanta, formerly Mathis Insurance Services, is an independent agency offering personal, commercial, life, and health insurance products to meet the needs of your business and your family. We specialize in helping you protect all of your assets, whether you're purchasing insurance for the first time or searching for better products at a better price. Feel free to contact us at 770-483-0310. We're conveniently located at 1030 Remington Drive in Conyers, Georgia. Visit us online at insurance-iaa.com. You're listening to the Loudmouth Radio Network.
Okay, Sterling, we are back on Loudmouth Radio. It's Fantastic Friday, and we have a special guest, Sterling. I'm going to give you the floor, give you the honors of sharing with our listeners about the amazing opportunity that's going on in the Tampa Bay area and the special guest that you have that's coming on today for us on Loudmouth Radio.
Well, we're welcoming Steve Persall. He is the Tampa Bay Times movie critic. His review. Are you there?
Okay.
Am I there, or did you lose me?
Live. I want to say we're just coming back from a commercial break, and we were talking in reference to the House bills. I don't know, Sterling, if you're there with me, you may have
did you lose
fallen
me?
off, but we actually are live on Loudmouth Radio here. It's a fantastic Friday, and we are actually, today is April Fool's Day. So I don't know if people are still participating in the antics, but April Fool's Day it's been a little bit since it's been on a Friday. So I don't know about anybody else. Hopefully nobody has any heavy practical jokes for me today. But if you are listening in and you want to be a part of our conversation, I'm going to invite you to call in to our studio line at 347-826-7520. And we are live and talking on air right now. And what I think is so incredible is that we've had an opportunity to really speak on a lot of the things that's going on politically. And for us today, I think that we're getting closer to aligning with whom may be our future president. So I try to exercise to all our listeners to get out and vote. Your vote matters. To definitely do what you can to provide your community an opportunity to get the best things that should be readily available to you. So until we can, continue to put our communities in position and on the map, we're going to be left with situations like this where we have threatening discriminatory bills being presented. So Sterling, I want to invite you to bring on your guest.
Okay.
You're listening to the Loudmouth Radio Network.
Are we ready?
I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Okay, you're here. I'm here. Are you there, Sonny? I'm happy to welcome Steve Persall. He's the Tampa Bay Times movie critic.
You're reviews. To the Loudmouth Radio Network.
I don't know what's going on, Steve.
You
keep in it. What do you, Sonny? You keep. We keep having our tag come in.
Just slightly.
Sonny.
Let's just try to just go into a quick commercial break.
Okay, I guess we're going to go to. Hold on, Steve.
Okay.
Insurance Associates Atlanta, formerly Mathis Insurance Services, is an independent agency offering personal, commercial, life. You're listening to The Bare Truth, Love, Life, Sex, and Flowers with Jazzie Jones-Smith here on Loudmouth Radio.
Sterling, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Do you have Steve on?
Yes, we do.
I can hear you.
Okay, we just had a little bit of a glitch there, a little technical glitch. I apologize.
Okay, so we're here now, and I'll give my one more time, Steve. I hope you don't have this tonight with Miss Lorraine, but is that we're happy to welcome Steve Persall. He's the movie, like I said, the movie critic for the Tampa Bay Times. He gets the wonderful privilege tonight to moderate an evening with Sophia Loren, which is happening at Ruth Eckerd Hall this evening. And Steve, tell us about it. I mean, I know you have to be excited. I am to attend it.
I'm very excited. I've been studying up and everything else for the past couple of months. Actually, I think I'm fairly well prepared for anything that she throws at me. It's the kind of thing where she steers the conversation. This is not going to be 60 minutes me trying to pin her down on any of the scandalous things, but it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be quite an honor to be sitting up there next to her for an hour and a half or so.
And I know that News Channel 10 had you do the same thing for their younger listeners. I myself am not one of the young, so I know who Sophia Loren is. So for you and I both to kind of share with our listeners around the globe is let's tell them who Sophia Loren is. And
well, I like to say that if the internet had been invented 50 years ago, Sophia Loren would have broken it. She was Kim Kardashian with talent. She had she had just as much public scrutiny, just as much adoration in a pre-internet society. So basically, it's like measuring Gone with the Wind movie tickets versus Batman versus Superman. The tickets were cheaper, but more of them were sold. More people were actually involved with her than you might think. She's a wonderful actress. Wonderful actress.
And I remember her in El Cid was one of her with Charlton Heston. I watched that at the drive-in. And on the front of my parents' Buick. I mean, it was at a drive-in.
My dad used to operate theaters indoors and drive-ins, so I remember, seeing some of her early stuff like Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow, the Striptease with Marcello Mastroianni when I was way too young to be seeing those kinds of things, but made an indelible impression all the same. She's 81 years old now, still looking gorgeous.
Amazing.
She really does.
Oh my God.
So yeah, it's going to be a thrill to. We'll meet her this afternoon. We've spoken on the phone for an interview, about 20 minutes or so. A very lively person, very. She likes to laugh, so this is not going to be some sort of somber and this is what happened and that's what happened. She has a playful side to her, and I think we're going to have a good time together.
Well, and I think it's interesting that at 81 years old that she's willing to put herself out there to the public this open, because she is, from what I understand, she does take, am I correct, Stephen, that you guys will be taking questions from the audience?
Yeah, we'll take some. It's not going to be a lineup of people, because we did that one time with when I was doing the interview thing with Al Pacino, also at Ruth Eckerd Hall. And you got big lines of people down the aisles, and everybody was coming up saying, "Hey, Al, I'm from Brooklyn too. I'm from the Bronx." And there were no questions. It's just people wanted it. So we're going to have people fill out questions on cards as when they come into the theater, and then we'll just scan those cards, pick out some good questions, and have her answer those. We'll do about an hour one-on-one interview up on the stage where we're going to cover everything from her childhood in World War II in Italy, which really kind of informs her career. She grew up hungry. She grew up homely. Her nickname was Toothpick. She was which she's not a toothpick anymore. And even her Oscar-winning role in Two Women, she's playing a mother protecting her child as her own single mother protected her. So you've really got to sort of understand her childhood a little bit to understand that, in fact, she grew up without a father. When she marries Carlo Ponte, who's like 30 years her senior, she's looking for a father figure. When she has a relationship with Cary Grant, who's 30-some-odd years her senior, she's looking for a father figure. Everything that happens in her career starts with childhood. So we're gonna hit on that. Then we're going to get into...
That's going to be amazing, Steve. That's going to be amazing. Yeah, she actually won an Academy Award for Two Women.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And just to hear her tell the story of not being she didn't attend the Oscar ceremony that year because she was too nervous. She didn't expect to win. She was the first actress or actor of any gender to be nominated for an Oscar for a non-English speaking role. So she figured she had no chance whatsoever. She stayed over in Rome, and the next morning Cary Grant calls her up and says, "You won." So how
now
many people
Steve, does she admit to now? Because many years she didn't admit to their relationship, her and Cary Grant. Does she now admit to it?
No, she doesn't really admit to it. But and if you read her memoir, she's a very discreet person in all matters of romance like that, except with Carlo Ponti, who was basically her one and only her only husband, her only love, she says. But I'm going to push her with Cary Grant, a little bit.
And they were where you mentioned the Kardashians. What people don't realize is even before Richard Burton, or at the same time of Richard Burton and Liz, is Carlo and Sophia. Yeah, Carlo and Sophia were the tabloid babies of their day.
Because they had the problem that he was married already when he had gotten a divorce, but Italian law didn't recognize divorce at that time. So he was still legally married, and then he married Sophia. So they had bigamy charges, or the potential of bigamy charges, hanging over their head for years. They had to go through all kinds of legal ramifications, getting their marriage annulled, and then getting married in France, and all this kind of stuff. It was a very soap opera type of thing that people followed and lapped up. Then you had the idea that she couldn't conceive children for several years, many years, so that when she finally had children, it was like it's like Ivy.
It was a big and a huge deal, and she backed away from film at that point. Correct? She backed away.
She slowed down a little bit to take care of her kids. Came back pretty strong though in the 70s and 80s, and then when Carlo passed away, she sort of backed off of it entirely, except for that brief and luminous appearance in 9. Back in 2009, I guess it is.
Yeah.
So she is the epitome of Hollywood stardom. She has beauty, talent, grace. She has longevity. She has everything that that makes a Hollywood star. I'm going to say in my introduction tonight, there are many people star in movies, and only a precious few are the movies. And Sophia Loren is one of them.
And she's she's like where we talk about the ultimate star. She's an ultimate star.
Yeah,
absolutely. she and will shine. It never diminishes. And
we're going to have some film clips to illustrate, for anybody there who is among the uninitiated, and you're going to see a sexy, vivacious woman, just passionate, funny, and at times heart-wrenching in with her performances. And it's going to be a huge honor to be there with her.
Well, I'm only a couple rows in. I have, I think, like second or third row. I'm wearing a Valentino suit, Steve. See, I have I got
it. Sterling, come on, dude. How long have we known each other? We can pick you out of a crowd anywhere.
Tell them, Steve.
Well, and I hope that you'll see, and then we have the VIP treatment that I hope that I will get to see you and Lady Di. Steve's wife is just an incredible a woman too. I just love your wife, and I'm so excited that I get to see her again. And she must be thrilled. She's got to be excited.
Yes, absolutely, and we're inviting another friend along, Jennifer Delano, to keep her company and keep her calm out there in the audience while I'm up there. Just in case I start flirting with Sophia, Jennifer can hold her back from charging the stage.
Awesome, I love it, Steve.
So I'm so excited.
Thank you. Yes, it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Well, thank you for joining us and taking your time today. I know you're busy,
My
and
pleasure.
and like I said, I look forward to seeing you tonight with Miss Lauren. And I want one of the things that if you get a chance, one where we were talking, I did want to mention. I want to hear if we get a chance to mention their art collection because her and Carlo had a huge art collection that was even seized at one time by the government.
Wow!
I don't know if you knew that,
wow.
but I would have the art. I would have the art connection, Steve.
I tell you what, Sterling, do me a favor. Fill out one of those cards, like I told you about with the question, and I will do what I can to make sure that gets in the pile. That'd be a terrific.
Because here's something very interesting, Steve, to know is they had 10 Francis Bacons, including one of the Pope, his famous Pope series.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And one of them sold for a record amount at Christie's. I'm talking like $20 or $30 million.
Wow. Okay.
I'm
telling you,
that's huge.
They had Dalís and Picasso. They had Dalís and Picassos and Di Chiricos, and the government seized it at one point, and then eventually her and Carlo got it back, and they split it between them, I think, to protect it. And I'd like to know where the collection is. Is it with the boys, with her? Does she still come to America and live in Miami at times?
No, she's living over in Geneva, Switzerland.
Geneva, Switzerland. Yeah.
Didn't she? Mm-hmm. I think at one point she did have a home in Miami.
I'm sure she did. Miami, Los Angeles, those kinds of. But she's been over there pretty much since Carlo died, and it was 2007. Okay. So about the last decade, she's been over there.
Yeah, because I'd like to know where I'd like to know where the Dalí is.
Well, I'm sure Hank Hines would too. Hank's awesome. the director of the Dalí Museum there in St. Pete.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, do me a favor, get that on the card, and I will do my best.
I will. We're going to try to get there early.
If you can get there early, fill it out on 2 cards, put one in their stack, and slip one to me on the side. Okay.
Okay.
And I'll slip that in the mix because they're going to be sorting them out and just handing them to me. But if I have it there, we'll do the same kind of thing. I do this in Vegas all the time, no problem.
Okay.
Well, Steve, I gotta tell you, thank you so much. This is Sonny, and my wife Jazzie is sending messages to say, "Oh, I'm listening. Tell him I appreciate him coming on and sharing this experience, and he loves her. She loves Sophia, so she's like, oh my God, let her know that I love her." So we got to speak for Jazzie because she's not on air with us at the moment. So thank you so much for sharing this insight.
Hope she feels better. Thank you very much. You're up in Atlanta, is that right? Is that what I understand?
Yes. We're in Metro Atlanta.
Spent a lot of time up there in my youth, in my younger, impetuous days.
I love it.
You're still young. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
We're still kids.
All right, friends. We'll see you guys later on. Okay?
I'll see you this evening, Steve.
I'll see you tonight. Take care.
Thank you, Steve.
All right, thank you.
So, Evening with Sophia Loren, 8 p.m. tonight at the Rue Eckerd Hall at 1111 McMullen Booth Road in Clearwater. So, I don't know, Sterling, if tickets are still available, but they ranged anywhere from $55 to $150. So
I guess that I would tell them to get a hold of the box office. I think that that would be if Ruth Eckerd Hall is a pretty good size hall, but I know that Miss Alicia and I had gotten our tickets quite a while back for the meet and greet, and I think that's definitely that may be sold out because that's just that's the front rows, and but I'm not sure. I mean, they can go to I would offer go to Ruth Eckerd Hall online and check and see what the box office and join us tonight because this doesn't happen very often that you get to meet an actress from basically the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s
I know.
Into the
2000s of industry.
I mean, this kind
years.
of I don't know. I mean, very many other actors and actresses that still basically have that longevity in this film industry. And like he said, I mean, like Steve said, is that this is one of the original, in the sense that before the internet, she entranced the world. I mean, and totally entranced the world.
Exactly.
So
I
think it's a lot easier today when you can show your behind, as some of these young ladies and men choose to do, and it goes viral very quickly across the internet. It's a little bit different, but when you had to actually, as Steve said, have talent to seduce the world, it's amazing, and I'm totally looking forward to it, and I will report back to you next week.
Awesome. I love it. And thank you so much. And it's been an awesome show. We said today was going to be a short show. We miss Jazzie. Jazzie, mwah, mwah, mwah. We love you, and we're so grateful that you're getting better. And so we just ask our audience to just keep us in prayer in regards to healthier air conditions. But I know a lot of people across the nation is really suffering because our season is really off right now. So we actually had to go through.
Well, and it's like we've talked about climate control. I mean, this is why all of these issues in our world are important, because it affects us. It affects our health. It affects everything about our, and as we hit from everything from entertainment to food to the life of Pay, and make sure you tell her hello. We send our love to her, and we'll get a report from her when Jazzie gets back next week, hopefully.
Yeah.
And, is that all that matters? To stay involved, and that would be the big thing, and to go out and have a fantastic Friday, because I'm going to meet Sophia Loren.
Okay, I know, right? Enjoy it, and it's so good to know that our radio network is making some great connections. So, Sterling, we're going to part ways on this fantastic Friday today, and we're going to thank all of our listeners that have tuned in. If you're listening to this archive, you can listen to us and follow us on TuneIn Radio with over 50 million active listeners. And we're also on Stitcher Radio, which is integrated into your car dashboard to over 5 million car drivers across the nation, as well as over 20 million active Android and iPhone users on Stitcher Radio. Just look us up at Loudmouth Radio Network, which is with 2 Ds. And you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook and also on Instagram. And we thank you guys for giving us another awesome opportunity to bring you a new show with Fantastic Fridays with Jazzie, Sterling, Powell, and myself, Sonny. And we'll definitely follow up and hear more from Sterling and his opportunity tonight with Ms. Sophia Loren. And The Life of Pay will be back. And we appreciate everybody for listening in today. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody.
You're listening to the Loudmouth Radio Network.